You get up $2.5 million. Any asshole in the world knows what to do. You get a house with a 25-year roof, an indestructible Jap economy shitbox. You put the rest into the system at 3 to 5% to pay your taxes, and that's your base. Get me? That's your fortress of fucking solitude. That puts you for the rest of your life at a level of fuck you. Somebody wants you to do something? Fuck you. Boss pisses you off? Fuck you. Own your house. Have a couple bucks in the bank. Don't drink. That's all I have to say to anybody at any social level. Did your grandfather take risks?
Yes.
I guarantee he did it from a position of fuck you. A wise man's life is based around fuck you. The United States of America is based on fuck you. You're a king? You have an army? Greatest navy in the history of the world? Fuck you, blow me. We'll fuck it up ourselves. Which we have done. Beautiful fuck you position, lost forever.
Welcome back everyone, I hope you're all having a lovely day. In today's video, we're going to be getting into a Bitcoin technical analysis. We're also going to be taking a look at some of our favorite altcoins, Chainlink and Ethereum. I want to share with you my thoughts on the general momentum behind the price action, some of the key critical areas we should be watching for some potential trading opportunities. There's a lot to speak about in today's video, and as you guys know, I don't like to waste any time, so let's get right into it here. Starting off on the one-day CME chart on the right here, you can see that we did close above the 200 simple moving average, which is a good sign in the short term. That is going to be kicking in this bullish divergence, which has been playing out thus far. Obviously, we've had quite a nice bounce from these lows. However, we don't have one drive of bullish divergence here. We have multiple drives of bullish divergence, and overall, that could give us a very nice outlook if we can maintain above this 200 simple moving average. Now, as you guys know, on the lower time frames here on the 4-hour, our ultimate target for the long positions here were the value area high, and we were looking at a reclaim of that as a good sign. Of course, on the first hit here, we can be looking for short positions as well, as it is a major resistance for me, and we are looking at this as already about a 3.4% rejection. So a little bit of a front run from this region indeed. We did end up coming down first before hitting that target. But ultimately, our confirmations that we spoke about were still present, and so that gave us a good enough trade to actually hold those long positions. I did end up adding some long positions at $32,400, took some profits at $33,100, so a little bit of a scalp position here. But once we actually got above those confirmations, above those resistance points, ended up compounding and adding to this long a little bit at $32,970. That was my average at that point, so it was still this long position up here, and then closing some more at $34,700. Now, I didn't actually get my take profit up here. I did get front ran a little bit on that one, and ultimately that was a key resistance for me. So it's always good to actually front run your take profits as well, which I did not do in this case. So you're not going to have every trade come off perfectly. We did end up going up to about 35,500. Our major resistance was 35,700, and we've had a 3.3% rejection from here. Now, what will we be looking at next here? So the key support, of course, will be this higher low here. That's what I would be looking at. The market structure here is trying to flip into a little bit of a bullish structure. We have got a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high. However, this area is a very big area because of the fact that that was the rejection that we got before our impulse to the downside. So this would make this block of price action a very important region in confluence with our weekly profile value area low, which is very, very important here. If we can get above that resistance point, then I do think that it is very probable to have an oscillation of the weekly profile range, and our point of control, the lower point of control and the upper point of control here of the weekly profile range, is sitting in confluence with the weekly R1 at around $39,814. So I do really like that region. We would need to reclaim these resistance points for us to actually confirm the move to the upside. Right now, we do have some lower time frame bearish divergences playing out. So if we go on to our 2-hour here, we can actually check out this chart, which has got the RSI on it. We can see that we have a little bit of a bearish divergence here, I believe it was, not on the CME chart, but on the spot price action, we actually do have a little bit of bearish divergence, meaning that the price action did create a higher high, but that was simply come with some bearish divergence here on the lower time frames. So that playing out is not the end of the world, of course, but we would need our critical support regions to hold. So firstly, this 55 exponential and the 21 EMA crossing to the upside, that would be a nice short-term support. If we go ahead and pull a Fibonacci retracement from our impulse to the upside, we would be looking at the 0.5, a little bit below that. So I do like that region as well, since bots and algos will be trading off that. I would want to see that ultimately held. However, as long as the market structure does hold here, it is looking good for the bulls still. But remember that the market structure, the higher low here that we're looking at on the 4-hour time frame, would be somewhere around, if you're looking at the candle bodies, $32,561, the wicks around $32,281. Now going back onto our main chart here, this is kind of what I would be looking at. So if you weren't in a long position already, I wouldn't really be longing into the resistance that we've spoke about for the last a few days here, which is the weekly profile value area low. Would not be longing into that. Of course, on the first hit there, you actually look for some short positions since it is a major resistance. But once reclaimed, that would give us a nice probability of moving back up at the very least to this point of control. And our value area high is around $41,321. Remember that it is Friday right now, so a lot of things can happen over the weekend. Tonight's trading session is going to be very, very important. So definitely do be on the watch out for that. And this is why we are taking profits as well. On all trades, you want to be taking profits. You don't ever want your trades to come back into a loss. Of course, in many cases it will, but that is the whole point of risk management. You want to be managing risk very, very closely and taking your profits, being aggressive in profit taking, since we are still in the high time frame range that we have discussed. So our high time frame range support would be these lows right here, the ones that we set in on the 22nd of June, which is exactly at $28,726. That is also in confluence with our January lows, which we have discussed multiple times since we broke into this range. So it's nice to see we finally got a test of the bottom once again, hitting our bullish order block as well. So we won't discuss all the things that we've really discussed over the last month, really, inside of the high time frames. However, these are the regions we'd be watching. Ultimately, don't want to see any daily closures below this low or even this monthly S1 here at $30,829. Of course, our volatility index here is showing us some more ranging price action until really the start of the new month. That is what I mentioned back here in May. So now we're going to be looking at this breakout coming very, very soon. I do believe this range will result either to the downside or the upside very, very soon. Of course, volatility would not tell us which way we're going to be breaking, but with our confirmations of our support regions or resistance regions and an expansion in the volume and the volatility, that's a good sign that we can be getting in on that momentum. Now let's move on to the Link USDT chart. So I want to take a look at the 1-day time frame here with you guys. We have bounced up from our bullish order block from our EQ perfectly here. So if you have been following along with the videos, this was a very big support region. We've bounced up about 26%. We do have a falling channel going on here as well. But ultimately, I do not want to see this bearish order block or bullish order block, sorry, broken to the downside. If that is broken to the downside, then I do think that we're going to be making a leg at the very least to the S2 here at 988, and also these lows back in September 22nd, so that would be around 729. But since our bullish order block is holding, we are still inside of the range. We have tested the EQ of the bullish order block plus the bottom of the falling channel. That makes for a nice scalp position. Now the resistance would be to reclaim around $20.38. If we can do that, then I do think that we can make another move to the top of the channel. But right now, the trend is unchanged. We do still have lower lows and lower highs. And once that flips to the upside, then you can have a very safe trade to the upside, of course. So all about waiting for those confirmations, whether you're trading the daily or the lower time frames, you want to be picking the correct levels that you can be riding the momentum on here. And I do like how this falling channel does sit right around, or the top of the falling channel does sit right around that lower high that we have set in on the daily time frame. So really breaking this channel to the upside is going to be confirmation that potentially this trend change is going to be coming. We've taken out this last lower high, and then we can result this range to the upside. However, right now, bears in control until that does happen. Now let's move on to the Ethereum USD chart, taking a look at should we go on to our Coinbase chart here today? And so we can see that we had our anchored VWAP from the highs. Of course, that has acted as resistance multiple times. We've come back to our bullish order block as well. And now that bullish order block has actually given us a little bit of a bounce to the upside, but it's not the strongest bounce, guys, at least thus far. We have bounced up a little bit, but it is not the strongest bounce. It makes for a good trade on the first hit, about a 20% bounce here. That is very, very good. But what we need to see right now is a reclaim of around $2,275. So a little bit far away from price action, but that's what I would want to see for this to really start to move further to the upside. And also you could be going off around $2,095. So we've hit our support region, not seeing the strongest bounce thus far. If we can get above that resistance, I think we'd be looking much, much better. And of course, the trend for Ethereum is still to the downside. We've got lower lows and lower highs. So reclaiming these resistance points would be a good start for us to start to look to get in on that momentum. Our one-day stochastic here is looking very beat down. It is trying to get across up. If we can move our way up here into the neutral zone, that would be good for price action also. But if we get a rejection from the neutral territory, so around this region, we'd be looking at that as much more bearish for price action. So right now, for the altcoins especially, I would stay very, very patient. We've had some nice trades already hit, so I would stay very patient because of the fact that Bitcoin is really at decision time, in my opinion. So that is about it for today's video, guys. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter video. If you guys have been watching the videos since we broke to the downside, we've been expecting ranging action. We've been trading all of the regions that are of areas of interest. And of course, we've been here for about 37 days. So yes, I do expect these ranges to result actually result very, very soon and give us a resolution basically very, very soon here. So I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. Go ahead and leave a like on it if you haven't already. It does help me out. And if you would like to join the private technical analysis group, get access to all of my content, go ahead and send me a message on Discord. My username is down below in the description, at the top of the description. I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and I will catch you in tomorrow's video.